My name is Imogen Garcia-Reid. I'm Lead Strategy and Policy here at VACC. A very warm welcome to the second in the Lunchbox series designed to assist LMCTs in various questions as they relate to regulation and how you interact with the regulator. We're absolutely delighted to have DTP here today, Department of Transport and Planning, Michael Chan, who is the Dealer Scheme Manager, who most of you may already know, who will be presenting on dealer certification and used car dealer scheme. Just a little bit of housekeeping. The questions will go through the chat. Mick will monitor those and we'll have some time at the end. I think Michael and his team will probably monitor at the same time if anything stands out and can be addressed in real time. Otherwise, we will get to it in the chat. If we can't get to it in the chat, then we will consolidate, develop up a response and distribute to those that are online. So fear not, your question will be addressed if it's not done in the actual webinar. So I'm going to hand over to Michael now. We're all really interested to hear what you've got to say and look forward to your presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Sorry, it's just Mick McKenna. Sorry to interrupt. Michael, just for the point of saving people a lot of energy and a lot of time, can we just quickly up front address two quick issues that I know will come through, and they've come through loud and clear in the themes of the questions in advance. One is about the registration of electric vehicles and the stamp duty calculations and the impact it's got on dealers. And the other is the ability for dealers to register used vehicles online. If we just quickly kill that off, that'll save a lot of questions, I think, and give some people some further guidance.
Sure thing. I guess the two current partner portal limitations is what's causing all these pain points at the moment. In relation to ZLEF, that has come up a number of times now, and we're pushing for that change to occur. So now, people on the call and dealers will be well aware that now VicRoads and the department are two separate legal entities. We're on the department side, and VicRoads is a joint venture partner of the state. Now the systems and the partner portal actually belongs to VicRoads, so any changes that we push for now will require some VicRoads action to actually update that, and we're pushing for the ZLEF calculator to be updated. It's in chain, but I haven't been given any timeline or a specific date in which they are able to update that particular change and get that feature done. Now, in relation to the second part, which is really the used car registration process, is currently some dealers are able to do it, but so in other words, via paperwork. The limitations is that NAFDIS is not ready in the sense that they haven't built that link or an API for us to enable us to tap in to their database. And this is earmarked to be implemented, to how I understand it, is next year, in the third or fourth quarter of next year. NAFDIS will build that link on the API. And then once we have that link, VicRoads again will have to update the partner portal to enable that connection. So currently, when you try and register a used car, some of these cars may be registered in another state. It may still be currently registered in another state. It may have been deregistered. We can't sort of see any of that records until the partner portal is linked into NAFDIS. And the limitations of NAFDIS is that they haven't built that API yet. And it's in chain, they're building it, is how I understand it, but it won't be ready until the next third or fourth quarter of next year. So once we have that, we will again, need VicRoads to build a link so that the partner portal can start pulling out data and pushing data into the national the registration database, which is NAFDIS, which will enable used car to be online quicker moving forward. So hopefully those sort of covers those two question up front, and yeah, we'll probably update you guys as we go along.
Yeah, and we'll continue. VACC will continue to work through you guys to the end implementation, and we'll work through you with people, for instance, Paul Heller and the Hopper Group and a few other major dealerships as well, just to just so you've got that ready pilot group or pilot scheme group who can help express the delivery of that project. But enough of that, into your project, and I'll leave you alone.
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Michael Chan. I'm the manager for the dealer scheme. Yeah, so there are two schemes that my team manages, which is the dealer certification scheme and the used car trader. In fact, sorry, it's the wrong terminology being used there. Used car trader scheme. I have Damien here with me, next to me in the office. So we'll be co-presenting this particular webinar, and then I have another team member, Joseph, who's monitoring all the chats. So as question comes up, Joe will try and address those chats as best as he can. If we're not able to, I guess, address some of these questions, we'll take it on notice and come back and provide a more comprehensive answer through the VACC and Mix help. Yeah. So getting into the presentation itself. Okay, so as per our standard department's webinar and presentation and meeting, I'd just like to acknowledge country. So I'd like to acknowledge traditional owners of the land in which we're meeting here today in Ringwood, which is the Wurundjeri people. I pay my respect to their elders, past, present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people here. Today's webinar format, I think it's much the same as last webinar that we held. If you have any questions, please type that into the chat box, and I have Joseph monitoring that, so he'll try and answer as best as he can. If we get a bit more time at the end, quite happy to have people raise their hands using that feature in Teams, and then we can answer some question live. Feedback is always welcome, and I ask for everyone to respect each another's viewpoint. That's all. So getting right into the vehicle dealer program, now it is a fairly mature scheme. It was established in the late 1980s. There are two dealer schemes over time that has been created. One's the DC scheme, which is a dealer certification scheme. That covers dealers who operate new franchise cars and used cars as well. That particular agreement provides dealers with the ability to register new vehicle and used vehicle, but used vehicles are done manually, not online, and the ability to order number plates. It does come with more stringent requirements and responsibility because dealers are holding plates now and registering on behalf of the department. Another scheme, which is the used car trader scheme, that provides mainly for used car traders only, used car dealers. That service provides the dealer to transfer used vehicles. Yeah, that's more simple, although there are some pitfalls in which we'll get into it as well, but that's more simple because generally speaking, the details of the vehicle is already on our database. So mistakes are, limited in that sense, yeah. So the two schemes are managed under a service level agreement. It is a contractual agreement between the department and dealers. And there are legal instruments that ties the service level agreement to our regulations, and that enables a delegated services that dealer to perform on behalf of the department in terms of registration and transfer. Now, the dealer online system is built, as I mentioned previously, is on the partner portal platform. The partner portal itself belongs to VicRoads now. They hold all the IT stuff, but the department naturally can still push for stuff to be changed. Within our own little team, though, my team, I manage a total of 7 team members, including me. There's 8 staff members. Our team practically, assess all applications. We do the onboarding process. We train any new dealers that come on board. We provide support, as in if there are any dealers that require a refresher course, please reach out. We can sort of provide support. And in the cases where the dealers no longer operate, we sort of do the offboarding process as well. Now, the team, we operate under a account management support model. So in other words, we split up all the dealerships into various different portfolio sizes. And then my 7 team members each look after one portfolio. We're talking in round numbers here. It's generally speaking, each support officers will have about 300 plus dealers. So it is quite an extensive portfolio, and it can get quite busy depending on the nature of the inquiry sometimes. But yeah, my team members try their best. We have a lot of registration expertise within our team. A lot of my team members has been in the team for a long time. So we have, over 20 plus years of registration experience within the team. So if you hit a snag, if you're not quite sure sometimes, please reach out and we're quite happy to help and support. Now, I'll get Damien to provide you with an overview of some of these functions that dealer performs, which is really, how to register vehicle, transfer, where to obtain all the resources on VicRoad's website, the partner portal, and common functionality that dealers would utilize. Yeah, so we'll sort of go through that, and then we'll go through some of the pitfalls that we see where things sort of go wrong, or mistakes and errors, so that we can try and collectively raise our game and reduce errors when we can.
All right, so this is where I'm taking over. Hi everybody, my name's Damien. Some people will know me, some won't. So this, of course, is the partner portal as you guys would see it. This is, of course, is my one. We all have one so that we can actually show you how to use it as more of a training method. So this is the Help Center. I'm sure hopefully all of you would know what the Help Center is. This is where we've inbuilt a lot of the answers to the questions that you guys may have. It has all your like how to set up two-step verification, how to add users and administrators to the account. It has transfer help. It has new registration help. It shows you how to verify a registered operator. And of course, it has all the manual processes and forms. So as we said, we'll go through a few things. First, we'll bring up the new registration for a vehicle. We have a user-based scenario that is always constantly there. If you have any questions or new people that start, as I said, we can actually come out and train them if you would like. At the same time, they can actually use this because this is actually a dry run of how to register a vehicle. We find a lot of the time, a lot of the mistakes that are made, people may not have actually used this before. So if we just click through. So as you can see, so we do quite a lot of different vehicles on the portal. It is cars, motorcycles, trailers. That's both heavies, lights on both trailers and cars. So, but we'll do a car for now. We can do both light passenger, goods carrying, and special work vehicles. So these are tractors, forklifts, all these kind of things that are mainly farm implementation. So we've got Sam, who runs Sam's New Cars. So we all know that a dealer authority to register form is required for every single registration that's done via the portal. This is just a form that replaces the old authority to register that you used to have to have filled out to be able to go to a VicRoad Centre. Now, when it does come to nowadays, we do ask to actually have 2 points of ID cited. This is a license and either a bank card or a Medicare card. Now, of course, we are very aware we don't want to be keeping records of people's details. So when it comes to actually filling out these forms, you don't require to have every single bit of information on there. So it just needs to be, a VIC license, the number, the expiry. When it comes to bank card, just putting down bank card at ANZ or NAB or CBA, whatever bank it may be, is nice and easy. If it's a Medicare card, it can be as simple as reference 1, reference 2, just so we know that you've actually cited it. We don't need proof of it. We don't need photos of it. We just ask that you actually cite it yourself. So we have that all filled out. The top section should be filled out by the actual customer themselves. Therefore, then, if it does come back that it was filled out incorrect, they're the ones that have actually filled it out. So if they say, oh, no, I didn't want it in that name, I wanted it in another name, well, you go, well, you're the one who's filled it out. So you should be the one filling the form out correctly. So makes it nice and easy that way. It doesn't come back on yourselves saying, oh, no, you guys put it in the wrong name itself. We'll click next. So we all, of course, should know how to sign in by now. We just sign in using our two-step verification, which is now, I believe, required. It's no longer optional. It is now required, which also comes with Trust My Device. So which means that you can actually sign onto the one computer and you won't need to keep constantly verifying it for 12 hours. All right, so then we go in there, we put in the customer's number. Now, if we're verifying a registered operator, please do not use this part when doing it. Do not use this part because this is where the Spinifex letters come in. If you use this section, it will create a report to us saying that you've actually looked it up.
Without any subsequent transaction.
Without any subsequent transaction. So then we'll then contact you guys, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will actually have already had to deal with that.
Yeah.
We click next to make sure, of course, the person is the correct one. We then go through and we make sure that all the details are correct. We're making sure that we are putting a garaging address if the person does have a garaging address. Making sure when we're putting the number plate number in, use the check digit, don't re-enter the number again, because it's easy to put the same registration number in twice incorrect, where if you put the check digit in that's actually on that paper, if you've typed that number plate incorrectly, it will not let you proceed. Okay, so that's nice and easy. The date of registration must be the date of delivery. It's not a week before, it's not 4 days before or 3 days after, it's the date of delivery. Making sure the year of manufacture and the year of compliance plate date is the same. So if it's a 2024, the year of manufacture is 2024. It doesn't matter if they sit there and say, you know, it was built in 11/23, it is a 2024 because that was when it came compliant. We put make, model, body type, primary color. We're very easy when it comes to that. If it's blue, it's blue. If it's white, it's white. We don't have frosty white and all those kind of things. It's nice and easy. VIN must be 17 digits long, of course. And we don't have anything requirement for chassis numbers because we don't do any second-hand vehicles. Next. VL rate will be for anything under 4.5 tonnes, unless, of course, there is a concession card, which would be PR for pensioner, PH for a healthcare card. Making sure seating's done, number of wheels, engine type. Now, when you do put in electric nowadays, it will automatically put the cylinders as 0, which is what it needs to be. As we said, when it comes to those ones at the moment, we do have a workaround where we just mark it as market value exempt. And then you pay the stamp duty you email us a form to say that you've done that. We then contact you for payment for the stamp duty. Making sure if it is a commercial vehicle that both TAIR and GVM are entered. They must be entered both must be entered when registering a commercial vehicle. Next, now this is the last chance for you guys to actually confirm all the details you put into the partner account is correct. All right, a lot of the time if any mistake, you can actually pick it up here. If you click too fast past it, you won't get the chance because as soon as you do it, it is then live. So as soon as you confirm that it's all correct, and you press register now, it is live. It doesn't take a couple of hours to go straight on. It is immediately registered on our system. We then click next. We make our payment. Now we do have two ways of paying. We do have a credit card, and you can put a bank account on there. For anybody who's never done that before, I will show you where you can actually have a look on how to add it later on. It's nice and easy. If it's credit card, you just put your credit card details in there. You can save it so you don't have to keep putting them in. It will give you a breakdown of how much your registration is. You click next. That will then make the payment. It will then give you this number here. And as I'm sure you're all aware, if for any reason that the payment or the registration fails, that PTR number is the only way we've got of finding that payment. So we do require you to keep a copy of that. And of course, then you would then also download your certificate of registration, which is nice and easy. It's a little green box on the left-hand side there. You download that. There's actually two forms there. One is the label, one is the vehicle registration form. Both are required with the receipt to be kept on file for 7 years. And of course, the vehicle registration form with the label and the authority to register form will need to be sent in a yellow envelope to Vic Roads, which you can click next, which will show you there in that lovely little yellow envelope, which I'm sure you all have.
Yep, and then the form will be image. Once you sort of put it in the envelope, send it in, the forms and all that will be image, and we'll have a copy of that moving forward, yeah?
Yep. All right, and there we go. We are all done.
Yep. So if we want to perhaps run through quickly, I'm just conscious of the time. So we maybe perhaps run through quickly on transfer.
Yep.
How do I do this? Let me just move this down a little bit. Yep, so for transfer resources.
So now when it comes to transfer,
can I just interrupt for a second, because there's been a question raised by Deborah Smith, and I'm not sure where Deborah's from.
Yeah.
It's got quite a few likes, so I'll dare I say it, Dr. Reid, it's trending. But Deborah's asked, can the used car paperwork be emailed rather than posted so we can get confirmation on email is received? Now, Joe's answered it, but I think it's something that's just the weight of response to that question from the attendees probably means, Michael, we're going to have to, at some stage offline after the meeting, talk about this, because it's something that's obviously in the world of the LMCT a really a big issue, I suppose. But just wanted to go to that question and just highlight. Now it's got 11 likes. I mean, can I get 12? But it is actually there we go. Thank you. I've never seen that sort of response to a question on a chat forum before.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, that's we've had, I guess offline discussions about this as well. The department doesn't deem email as a secure form medium of transfer. So particularly if you're emailing in manual registration stuff, you've got personal information and you've got your credit card details. So the department will not accept that as a means of transferring data. So we are exploring, again, with our Big Roads partner on options of how we can digitally transfer paperwork across to our back office, and that is in chain, and we are talking. So hopefully in the not too distant future we can come up with a solution in relation to
I think in 2024 that between us we can work something out there, and we can address the privacy issues and so on. Yeah,
correct. Having said that, there's always a element where technology doesn't work, and that's why the manual process needs to be in place. So when the internet's down, when Optus have a saga, we still have to revert back to the paperwork format so that we don't stop the industry from operating. Yeah. So there'll be some elements of manual paperwork being used, but I do agree. I think in the normal times where technology is working, then we should really sort of transition across to that, and we're exploring avenues and options with our chief security officer at this point. So I'll just let Damien quickly run through the transfer.
For the question. Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
So we have an actual video here which is a 4-minute long video which you can actually watch at any point in time that is on our help centre, which will show you from the start to finish, except one step, which is right at the end, is actually sending the paperwork in. We'll show you how to transfer a vehicle online.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it is something that you guys can watch at any time that you would like. It's always, as I said, it's always there. The only step that it doesn't have is that right at the end where it is meant to actually tell you, put your paperwork in the yellow envelope and send it into Vic Roads.
Yeah.
Same as you would like a vehicle registration.
Yeah. So it steps you through, similar to the user-based scenario, with transfers all the same, so you don't have different scenarios.
Yeah.
So it steps you through step by step how to sort of use that partner portal to transfer a vehicle until the end. What's missing, as Damien's saying, is that you put in the yellow envelope and send the paperwork in again to be imaged. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And we might quickly touch on perhaps forms.
Yeah. So we have all the forms that you would require to do any vehicle registration, transfers. We have that dealer application to cancel vehicles in there. We have all the certificate of approved operations for people who do machinery. We have the offline registration form. We have a primary producer form on there. A lot of the forms are actually on here, which is literally just under the Help Centre, under forms and manual processes. At the same time, in our Help Centre, we also have all our bulletins. So all the bulletins we actually send out, we actually upload onto the portal for you guys to actually be able to see. And that's for every user can then see them. Even though they are meant to be sent out, they are sent out to all the primary people. I do know last one, there was a lot of issues where people that I know that are on the list didn't receive it. And I think it's something to do with the actual, sorry, entering my password again.
Yeah, so they're having a bit of issues, but that's fine.
Oh, no, please.
Yeah. So just click this. Yep, same. Yeah,
Okay.
all good.
As you can see, so there's all the bulletins right there, and they're all the ones that are currently on the website.
Yeah. So that's the view that you see. You know, depending on users and what sort of features you have, it'll automatically populate. Now, this is Damien's profile, so you can see, you know, he has the ability to register new vehicle or transfer vehicles.
Yep.
Now, where Damien was saying is that if once you click into new registration and then you enter, you know, register standard vehicle, if you punch in the client ID number or license number in this sense, yeah, and you click search and you click on the person, if there are no subsequent transaction, the system will pick it up and go, hey, this person has looked up a person's details, and it will get notified, which will then have to come in, have to contact you to ask why was it looked up. Another feature within your partner account is called the Verify Registered Operator. This is the feature where if you need to verify the person's license details or details, you use this particular feature, it won't come up. You know, this feature is designed for.
Yeah, this is what it is. It's actually designed for you to be able to see that the vehicle the person is actually is wanting to trade into you is actually in their name. And then it allows you to go, if it's not in their name, to say, hey, look, you need to get it into your name. Because it could be in their wife's name or their husband's name, or it could be in their company name.
Yeah. So, okay, just to show everyone how to get to the Help Center, generally, once you get into the Vic Roads website, if you're not familiar with the website, the Help Center is just right at the bottom here, at the bottom left-hand corner, right? It's not generally something that we advertise for the public. members of the public. So that's why we sort of put a very small link at the bottom, and it's really for dealers only. So if you click into the help center, it'll bring you to the main page where, you know, the transfer video is in there, the registration. You go into my partner account help, and that's where where Damien sort of show you the new use case scenario. It's all here: new registration help, transfer help. That's the video, and other features. The forms that Damien show you is here as well. You click into the manual processes and forms, and then it'll bring you to this page.
Yep. I was going to point out one thing here that I know I have had a few people ask about. If you have a new user that you want to put on, where it says administrator and manage users help, you can actually click that link, and it will actually show you how to add a new user to your account. All right. So you used to have to email us, and we then have to add them on. And that's actually not required anymore. You guys can actually upload everything onto the partner portal, and then it just comes to us for approval. You guys put the police check on there. You put all their details, what you want them to be able to do, and off you go. You can actually even lock a user, delete a user. You as the primary contact or the sole, if you're the administrator, you have you can do everything and anything that we would normally do when it comes to the users.
Yeah, awesome. So we'll go back to the formal part of the presentation where we'll run through some common mistakes or errors that we see. So in terms of the dealer certification scheme where dealers are actually registering vehicle, these are the common errors or common issues that we found is that, forms are not filled up completely or accurately. Paperwork's not submitted in the right time frame, the required time frame, entering the wrong data into the partner account when you're registering the vehicle. Damien's mentioned about GVM and goods carrying vehicle. That's always an issue. Body type, getting the body type wrong, getting the color wrong. Models, getting the models wrong, more so in motorcycles. And my understanding is because the lambs bikes. So that's often an error in there. Incorrect VIN or identifier that happens from time to time. And having the incorrect plate and vehicle combination is also fairly common. So in the summary page that Damien showed before, when you're registering a vehicle, that's really a timely reminder where if you get to that summary page, just have a good look at it before you click that live, register the vehicle button, because once you go past that, you can't change it. The only way that you can change is to contact us, and depending on the nature of the change, it either comes to my team or one of our back offices that helps make those changes happen. Continuing on with registration online pitfalls, incorrect operator name is often an issue. It is a big one. We often get a request to change the name, but we go back to the original paperwork where Damien's saying that should really be filled in by the customer into the entity or the person in which he's purchasing or she's purchasing the vehicle into. Now, if you get it wrong and the original paperwork says that it is that person, then the only other way is to transfer it and pay that stamp duty. It's not easy to get an exemption from the SRO. So we often will check, but we often will not get any exemption. So if you get that name wrong and the paperwork says it's meant to go into that name, then the only other way is to transfer it and pay it. Now, if the vehicle is completely wrong, in other words, the form says Michael and it's registered into Damien, then reach out. Those are the cases that we're quite, happy to assist and get that vehicle into the correct name. Compliance plate date, where Damien's mentioned before. Now that's a tricky one with the second stage manufacturer's plate. Now, these are vehicles that perhaps has been supplied by the OEMs and has gone to another company or another business that they've converted the vehicle perhaps into a second use, and they've sought the Commonwealth for another approval. Now, for those purposes, we go by the SSM compliance plate. So if you look up the REV these days or the compliance plate in the old days, it will have a second date in there, a later date, because they've purchased the vehicle brand new and they've repurposed that vehicle. We go by the SSM date, basically. So it might take them, 6 months. It might take them a year to convert that vehicle. So we'll go by the later date. ZLEF, we've touched on that. Sometimes we still get errors in there where dealers have ticked that ZLEF field when the vehicle is not a ZLEF, or vice versa. They haven't ticked it when it is a ZLEF. Incorrect TSE codes, concession, common expiry dates are also common errors. We've already touched on the last 2 points, which is really, do not access the client record unless you have a subsequent transaction. And again, do not enter your own file, your own license number, and look it up yourself, because it will generate a report automatically, and we will get that report.
Exactly. And if you do, please make sure you write it down or have some form of record of this transaction. Because look, there are times where you will accidentally put in the wrong, you're typing in the number and you put the number in incorrect. If you can show why that happened, it's a lot easier for us at the start, because then the auditors don't bring up that as an issue to us. Because then if you can already answer it, then that's already sorted at that point.
Correct. So if you punch in the wrong number, record it down, so that when the auditors comes out, or if the report gets generated, you've got the rationale why the numbers were looked up, or the license was looked up. Registration, the manual process. These are the common pitfalls in terms of paperwork. So again, paperwork not submitted in the right timeframes, incorrect body types, fees, or incorrect client ID were the common faults when we looked at our records. VIN issues is a big one. That's why we sort of come back initially about being able to connect to the national database. Current partner portal is not doing that. So we get issues with written off vehicles, stolen vehicles, duplicate VINs are often an issue. But once the paperwork gets submitted, with my team, we'll have to look into this and try and resolve that internally.
Thank you, Michael. And Damien, I might just jump in there. Mindful of time, we're 1 minute to close. It's been fascinating, and I think everyone online will agree that it's been incredibly worthwhile participating. I would just like to say a very big thank you to Damien, to Michael, and also to Joseph online. And I think managing the chat has worked really well as well. I'm going to assure you that the chat I know has run hot, and we will consolidate those questions and liaise with DTP again, and get back to those of you that have attended today with a response. So fear not, they will be addressed. I'm going to throw to Mick now to talk about the next session, which is in another 2 weeks on the 14th. The 14th of August, and to give you a bit of context about what that one will be about. So Mick, over to you. Are you just on mute?
Absolute genius. Thanks to Michael and to Damien and to Joe. And Joe, your fingers must be killing you. Next week's one is particularly for the franchise dealer, is probably the most important Lunchbox session in my view. It deals with the licensed vehicle tester and their obligations and so on. And we've been seeing not a deluge of them, but quite a few franchise dealers get show cause notices as to why they shouldn't be kicked off the scheme. So I would encourage you guys to make sure that your service managers and people who have access to the system, and even the more junior guys, to come along and be informed of what they should do. But we'll get that invitation out a little bit quicker than this one. That was my bad. I apologise. With double ADA on and all that sort of things, I just got completely sidetracked. But Michael, I'll leave it for you to wrap up. Thank you, mate. You're an absolute superstar, and I'll throw back to you. Thanks, Doc.
Yeah, no, thanks everyone. We've ran quite on time. It's really just the transfer errors, and I've put my details up here. If you know your rep within my team, then by all means contact the rep and speak to them. If you don't, that's okay. You just email to the dealers at Rhodes, the generic email address, and we'll allocate that internally. The number again to call us on is 1300 753 325. Again, if you ring that general number, if you're not sure who your rep is, we will take that call and then allocate you to connect you with your rep within my team, and we'll try and help you out. Now, we're here to help, I guess, so always happy to help. If you have any inquiries or anything that you're not quite sure, please reach out and we'll try and assist. Just lastly, just on the ZLAF stuff, I've sort of missed out on the critical information just then. I know there's some limitations in the partner portal that we spoke about. Yeah, it doesn't calculate the right stamp duty amount, but we've come up with a workaround, right? So that dealers can still online the vehicle and make that payment later on. So we've come up with a workaround to assist in that regard. A number of dealers has already come on board. Now, if we have any dealers within this webinar that is not aware of it and is doing, a quite substantial amount of EVs, please reach out to my team or myself, on the contact details listed there, and we're quite happy to sort of come out and train you and tell you what's about, how do we sort of use that workaround to get those vehicles online quickly.
Yeah, I would urge franchise dealers in the EVs to do that. Don't muck around with it anymore, because it's been a long burn. And thanks for coming up with a solution, Michael.
Yep, no worries. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think we're going to wrap it up now. Thank you again to Michael, Damien, Joseph, and for being so accessible with VACC as well. We always appreciate it. So until next time, we wish you a very good afternoon. Bye.
Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.